Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Malignant. This is a supernatural horror film. You can see it in theaters now, which I would recommend because I think the subject matter lends itself to a big crowd. Or if you have HBO Max, you can check it out for free at home. Before we get into the specifics of the film, I do want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. Please consider subscribing down below, hitting that notification bell for notifications on all my videos, and of course, like and comment as well. All of that stuff does help out the Dan Reviews It channel. So let's get into this movie. Annabelle Wallis is the star of this film, and you may have seen her in a few different things here or there, but she plays Madison Lake here, and this is a woman who is pregnant when we first meet her, and then ends up having a miscarriage. And as a result, she begins to have visions of people getting brutally murdered. And then at the same time, she's realizing that these are actually just sort of visions of events that are actually happening. And so the story progresses from there. There's a lot of spoilery type stuff in this film. So in terms of the main plot, that's really all I'm going to talk about. We do start this movie in 1993, where there is some sort of experiment going on. We don't quite know what yet, but it's a really great opening scene. A lot of bloodshed and sort of, mysterious killings and stuff, and we don't really know what's happening. It only lasts maybe 90 seconds or so. But even the titles before that, the grainy VHS type WB logo, it really adds to the ambiance of this movie. So this was directed by James Wan, who is, at this point, I would say, new horror royalty. I mean, I really think he can be placed right up there with some of the greats of all time. He was, I don't know if he created the Saw franchise, but he directed the first at least one or two Saw movies, and then has been a producer, I think, on all of them since. He directed the first couple Insidious movies. I don't know if he directed The Conjuring, but he had I think he did. I think he directed the first Conjuring movie. And again, he's been producing a lot of the spin-offs of that and the subsequent Conjuring movies. So, I mean, this guy knows his horror stuff, and thank goodness for it, because the script to this movie is sort of all over the place. And some of the acting choices are not that great either. Now, Annabelle Wallis, she actually is really good in this. And boy, can she scream. That's definitely, she is, I think, after this movie, Scream Queen for sure. But some of the other actors, her sister, Sydney's played by this Maddie Hassan. She's not that great. And the detectives that are sort of taking charge on the case, played by George Young and Nicole Brianna White, they're okay. So I think in the wrong hands, this movie could have been just, another useless horror movie on the pile. But with James Wan's hand, man, there are some great visual things in this movie. A lot of really interesting shots, and the way he sort of melts the scenery around Madison when she's having these visions is really interesting. And so for that, I have to give this movie a lot of credit. And James Wan really is the man behind that credit, because I think the screenplay needed some work. Some of the acting needed work, but a lot of those sequences are going to stick with me. And I think, horror fans will really just enjoy the hell out of, because of the way they're shot and because of his masterful skill there. Now, the music is a little bit, I think, intense at times. It starts out with the opening credits, with this really great score. But one problem is that score keeps sort of coming up again and again. Every time she's got a vision, or every time there's some sort of reveal, there's that same score again. I think it sort of lost its momentum there. But because it leads us off in that very creepy way, it got me right into the action there. So about halfway through this movie, it turns into not another movie completely, but the tone kind of changes because the more we unravel, the more supernatural the story becomes and the more sort of crazy the story becomes. And so, by the end, they're really actually kind of leaning in to the B movie quality of it. It doesn't start out that way, and so I think that is a little bit of a turn that if I were to watch it again, knowing all of the twists and stuff, I'm not sure the first hour would really grab me. But because there was this mystery component to it, I kept wondering, okay, well, what's going to happen next here? Where are we going with this? What is the deal with this particular person or this person? And so I think that's an interesting factor as well. So this movie really does have a lot of good things going for it. James Wan is the master behind that, but not everything certainly works here. I think it's a bit of a mishmash. And that's why I kind of say seeing this in a theater with a nice audience, I know it's tough to get, a big audience in a theater these days. But, if you go out maybe on a Friday or a Saturday night for this one, to a semi-packed house, I think you will have probably the best experience with this movie because there's going to be a lot of gasping. There's going to be a lot of, sort of hollering at the screen and maybe even, some laughter towards the end as they really kind of lean into the silliness of some of the stuff here. There's even like a couple of like jokey lines from the cops. Like even they were sort of told, okay, now in this part of the movie we're going to be a little bit more jokey. So it's interesting how it sort of goes with that story. But look, for all of Malignant's faults, and I don't think there's a ton of them, but there's enough to not bring this into like the Get Out, A Quiet Place type of camp. But I just did a horror movie recently. I think it was for Don't Breathe 2, where I was like, horror movies lately are either like really bad, somewhere in the like C plus, somewhere in the middle range, or like really good. This one doesn't quite hit any of those. It sort of falls in between the like mediocre and really good frame. And I think a lot of that is due to its originality. Some of the sequences and some of the ideas here, I think are things that we don't often see in horror movies like this. So for those reasons, I do have to give this movie a positive grade. It's not quite A Quiet Place Part 2. That is still my number one horror movie of the year so far. But I think this one is a solid entry as well. I'm going to leave Malignant with a B. I think it's one, like I said, if you can see it in a theater with a big crowd, that's the way to go. If not, see it at home, turn the lights out, and just sort of, experience the movie. Let it wash over you, come what may. So there you go, a B for Malignant. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.